Downtown Tulum Radio.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Joanne from Downtown Tulum Radio. I am here again with Saeed Younan. Welcome back to our studio here in Tulum.
Thanks for having me back.
That's awesome. It's really nice to have you because I really enjoy your sets. Obviously, it's quality music and I get to go on a journey, so it's a blessing to have you back.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So I want to go back, of course, in time. I like to go back and speak with artists because I'm very curious as to how they started their journey, and it's interesting how there's always a similarity in everyone's journey, but let's go back in your journey. So born and raised in Baghdad, Iraq, and eventually you moved to US as well, and then you started with hip-hop.
I did. I had no choice actually, because in the late 80s, early 90s, that's what was pretty predominantly the music in US. So in order for me to break through as a DJ, I had to play hip-hop, and I liked hip-hop. I didn't have any problems with it, but my love was in house music. So in order for me to play parties, I had to merge the two worlds together, and I started playing hip house.
Hip house.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of house, a little hip hop, and I try to get everybody happy. So I slowly spoon-fed it to the crowd. Mainly, I was still playing high school parties. So yeah, from there, like hip hop in the late 80s, early 90s, when I fully transitioned to dance music, and the rave scene was pretty massive in US by then. So that's when I kind of broke through.
Yeah, we all missed the rave scene back in the 90s. So I want to know, so obviously you're doing hip hop, but what I want to know is how did you get educated in house music? So obviously you in US, we've been very blessed, myself in Canada too, we've had lots of important influences, but I want to hear from you, like how did you get educated on house music?
It was weird. I used to hear about house music because of New York. So like I used to have people used to tell me about there's this genre of style of music that's, and also I think disco played a big part of it. So, I already had like my sisters and they're like playing freestyle and some, what is it called? Italo disco.
Disco, yeah.
And I was already into that. I was even into like, Erasure. I was all kind of music. I used to skate, so I used to be into punk rock as well. But house music really came in. It's just like from the disco era, then I started kind of digging deep into it, and I think I just started hearing the music, and just falling in love with it, liking the beat, it was like the energy, the lyrics, everything was really great about it. And when I was little, I think I might have told you just last time, I was recording European stations in Iraq, so I had the tape player and recording terrestrial radio and trying to dial into the European stations. So that's how I learned about, and that was in house. That was like, disco and whatnot.
Disco and whatnot.
Yeah.
Did you always know you wanted to be a DJ?
I didn't. It's a crazy thing. I have an actual picture. I think my sister or my mom took at a party when I was little for the first time I've ever seen a DJ, and you can see me in the background staring at the
How
DJ.
old were you?
I think I was 10 years old, 11 years old, and I'm just like at awe with, and it was a lady, and I was like at awe what she was doing. She was playing my sister's, I think it was a baptism or something. I can't remember, but yeah, when I saw that, I just, I was like really intrigued about what she was doing. But the DJing just all came about when I was in high school, and I had a friend who had turntables, and he's like, hey, come check this out. And I right away just gravitated toward it, and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And, skipping class and just to go DJ and play in his basement was amazing.
You taught yourself how to DJ, right?
Yeah, I taught myself on 2 belt-driven Radio Shack turntables.
That's awesome.
With pennies on the needle, because, you can't belt-driven, you know what happens with that.
Yeah.
So it was like, I learned with the hardest decks you can imagine, but I think that's what makes a better DJ a better DJ. It's like you're moving from really bad turntables, belt-driven, then you go to 1200s, and you're like, it's like driving a really crappy car and just driving a Ferrari or whatever, and you're like, oh my God, look at all this stuff. So it makes you a better DJ when you start with really bad equipment and then move up, and I think that really played a big role in the way I DJ and how I play and how I got used to the equipment.
Yeah, because you really started with the right foundation, right? It wasn't just about bells and whistles and lights and everything, right? It just kind of you started to hear the music first.
And not at all. It was just 2 turntables and a mixer, and the mixer back then was a microphone mixer. It wasn't even a DJ mixer. Yeah. So we were using just dial-up for a microphone, mono signal, and that's how I started out. But from there, that's how you progress to be a better DJ, because once you upgrade, you're like, it's a whole new world, and you're like, okay, this was a lot harder. Now I can apply the hard stuff into the easy stuff, but it gives me more leverage to do more things.
Yeah, you can be more creative.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how did you know? So you obviously you fell in love with it, and then you started just kind of learning, educating yourself, and playing. But how did you know to make the move? Because I know you didn't just jump in it right away, right? Like you kind of just had to work through your way through. You work in it, and then eventually you had to quit.
Yeah. Well, after high school, my parents were like, "You got to go to college. This DJ thing is not going to work out."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, let's see." And I started doing parties in college. I actually paid for my college tuition through parties I was throwing at school.
Smart.
So I paid off my student loans and everything, and I graduated from college. I showed my parents, "Okay, you happy now?"
What'd you study?
I did mass communication, which is media and whatnot, marketing. But then I transferred to a business school, so I have a business degree as well. The party school didn't work out. Where I was just throwing parties, I had to leave that and go to a night school because I was trying to balance work and whatnot. So from there, I got a full-time job, but I was still, DJing. I was working at America Online, and then during America Online, I was like I started Addictive Records, a vinyl label, and I was kind of pretty much running that label, having a full-time job, and I started touring as well. So it was a lot to juggle, and I had a feeling like, this is all coming together, so I need to pull the trigger on one or the other.
Yeah.
And I knew the 9 to 5 was not for me. I was dreading it being there. So 1998 was like the last year I had a regular 9 to 5 and just went full force in this, but I had to really focus and make it work because I had to prove my parents wrong, my sisters, my uncles, my aunts, and Middle Easterns. They're just like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
He's throwing a career. Like AOL back then was like the Google of today.
It is, yeah.
So it's just like imagine leaving Google for like a great pay and
that you
security.
don't know if it's going to work out or not.
Yeah, you just got to pull the trigger sometimes, go for it,
So you were not scared that you were not going to make it. You just knew, right? Like
I had an instinct. It's like you always trust your instinct. You had a hunch. I had a hunch because I knew I was like, look, there's something here. I'm already touring while I have a full-time job. I was going to Germany and stuff like that already. So I was like, this is, why am I going to not take this chance? And, there's a saying, it's like, regret is a womb that lingers forever. So it's just like, you just got to go with it.
That's so powerful.
Yeah,
and so I want to talk about your Younan music label, right? So you celebrated 2 decades.
Yes.
So tell me about when you started it, right? Like you said, you first initially started that label, and then you moved to Younan Music. Why? So like you just wanted to be more professional. You just, tell me a little bit about that.
So my first label, it was called Addictive Records. That was launched with a partner named Palash. So we went as Saeed and Palash. That was 1998. Literally. Right around when I left AOL, we launched this label full force. But the problem is, as soon as we launched the label, around 2000, that's when Napster and all the digital download and pirating music came about. Yeah. And man, we had an office, we had employees, like we were like a legit record label. Yeah, we had an office space, we had a suite. And every day we come to the office, and right in front of our door we see just boxes of records, and it's all our distribution returning records that they can't sell to us.
Oh wow!
Because they're like, look, we can't sell everybody. Everybody's downloading the music, that everybody's ripping it, whatever. So literally, our office turned to a stock room. We had people, one guy working like with boxes all around him like this. It's just like we had, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Are these vinyls are from the original label? Tell me the story behind these.
Okay, so these are actually on 2 different labels. This is on Sandoz, which was Eric Murillo's label, who passed away. Him celebrating the 50th release, so he wanted to go with my track, Rock the Rhythm. This is actually the second track I released on Sandoz. The other one was a remix of Tweakin', so that came out on his label. This is Moody. This is probably one of the biggest remixes I've ever done. It's still like one of the biggest listened to on Spotify. This was at first came out on Cult Records, and I think this is on Tweaked Records. Yeah, this is a New York label. John Creamer and Stefan K did the other side, but these 2 are pretty solid stuff. I'm sure you have Addictive Records in there. I just don't know where it is. We'll say that for the next interview.
Yeah, that's right.
But those are like other labels. But this is the stuff I did in the early 2000s, like 2001, 2002.
Okay, so when obviously it was way past that. So Younan label, you released it 2 decades ago. So you did it on your own. Tell me about that. Tell me about that journey.
It's 2004. I launched Younan Music. Ever since then, we have over 150 artists, over 300 releases by the different artists, compilations. And we release like at least one single or one EP a month. We do at least 2 compilations a year, like maybe an ADE compilation and a Miami Music Week, and maybe like a Ibiza compilation if we have the time. And it's been like a labor of love. I love doing it. I love releasing music. You know, you're getting amazing demos. Might as well give them an avenue to release it. And we're predominantly on newer artists, so that's our focus, is just trying to bring up newer, younger artists or people who are just trying to break through. So that's what the label was kind of founded on.
I want to ask you about, running a label as a professional business. Do you think that maybe your business studies helped you with that? Like, how did you treat it so professionally? Because I think artists really struggle with that. They're an artist, they're great DJs, maybe they start producing, they're thinking about releasing a label, but they don't really know what to do, Like, how do you treat it as an actual business? Like,
yeah, I think that's the biggest problem I see with artists these days. They're super talented, and their focus is in the right place, which is making amazing music, becoming a great DJ, but some of them don't understand it's a two-way street. You got to have both. You got to have a business sense and the artistic sense. Yeah. It sucks because that's what it's all about. I mean, back then, when I started out, a DJ career and a producer career were 2 different careers. Mm-hmm. They weren't like, you don't have to be a producer to be a DJ, but now it's like you have to put that together. But there's a third hat on that, which is the business sense of it. You got to produce, DJ, and know how to be a business person. I try to help people. Like, we're gonna talk. We'll go into some details on stuff. But it's being in the business I've been doing this full time for almost 30 years. I've seen all the bad and the good, read bad contracts
and the changes.
Yeah, and the changes, especially with the digital age. So, and there's still changes happening with copyright and with publishing and whatever. So I'm always learning stuff, and I'm trying to pass it on.
That's good. I mean, that's what keeps you, in the game, because sometimes I find like some of the artists, it's very hard and challenging for them to let go of like vinyl is the way to go, or like, yeah, sure, it's a lost art, but you have to kind of maybe move and evolve with how the music is evolving too. And it's kind of challenging sometimes because you feel like you're losing your identity, right? But it's not. It's just the evolution of music,
Exactly.
So let's go back. Let's go back. Your label. You said that you're really helping new artists, give them a voice. So tell me about that.
So we predominantly sign brand new artists who are maybe just trying to get to the next level with their music, with their production. So we're just like a little window of opportunity for them to come in, release a track, and they can use that as leverage to go to other labels. We don't, sign anybody exclusively and just open up the doors for them. But what I also recently just started like doing a little bit of a mentorship program. So this could be an artist, who could be somebody that just wants to break into the industry, or not necessarily breaking the industry. They're already making music, they already have stuff out, they're already touring and DJing, but they may not have the business sense of how to take things to the next level. Whether it's getting an agent, a manager, getting gigs, reading contracts, how to negotiate, how to talk to promoters, the things you want to say, you don't want to say. So I created a mentorship, a one-on-one. It's not pre-recorded. You actually sit down and you talk with me, and we do like an hour a day for 5 days or whatever, and we can elaborate on things if need to, just to give them that business sense behind their artistic sense.
Yeah.
And it's the full package, and that's what you need nowadays in order for you to really make this a full-time gig.
Do they get intimidated by that?
They don't get intimidated. They get... at times they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that's how you're supposed to approach it. I never thought about that. Like a lot of them, I'll give you an example, a lot of them, the way they approach a promoter after they play a set could really throw off how they're going to get the next gig just by their approach, or at the timing of their approach, or the way they open for a headliner. Plays a big part if they're going to end up playing again at this venue, or if they're even going to be booked, because a lot of times the headliner, if they like somebody that opened up for them, they make it a point to go tell the promoter, hey man, I really enjoyed this guy's set. Next time I come back, I would like him to play. And it's exactly what happened with me and Carl Cox.
Exactly, that's what I want to...
So I'm learning myself, and I'm just trying to teach them the same. Hey, it happened to me, it's going to happen to you guys.
So tell me about that. That's so cool. So you opened up for him, he loved it, and he just wanted you to tour with him. So
Yeah, so
how was that?
It was great. I think he hit me up on Facebook, and I didn't, I was like, I thought it was a joke, whatever. But he's like, yeah, we just played at Echo Stage together. I was watching your set from the green room. I love what you're playing. I have a residency in Vegas. I would like you to be the person that support.
Amazing.
And then we went and started doing festivals together. We did Resistance. We did Escapade in Canada, Digital Dreams, Electric Forest, like all his stages. I went on the road with him, and I think we did it for like 2 years or something like that.
That's awesome. How long ago was that exactly?
This was 2016?
2016,
yeah,
yeah.
2017.
So about 10 years ago, 9 years ago.
9 years.
You still keep in touch with him, obviously.
Of course, yeah. He just clicked like on one of my Facebook posts.
Yeah, he's playing big in Universe now. It's that big club. So your mentorship, because I want to go back to that. That's very interesting. Do you promote it? Like how do you get people on board to work with you? Obviously, they seek out your mentorship, right? So what do you do? Like you just
It's an infant. It just started. I haven't even promoted it yet, so it's all word of mouth. So
That's the best.
Yeah, it's the last, because I want to test it out, see if it's gonna work. It's new for me too. I've never actually sat down and mentored people and created a special program for them to kind of propel them and get them going in the business. So I'm trying to test the waters and learn as I go. So I'm like picking, like I'll mention a couple of people and they told other people. So it's all word of mouth. But then I had one student who's like, dude, you got to put this online and start promoting it. Yeah, and let people know, because it really helped out a lot. So I'm going to get a little testimonials from everybody, then, launch it and see what happens.
So you're here in Tulum. Obviously, you're doing like an online course. So how was that? Tell me about that. Promote it.
I'm here for about 9 days, and I'm doing a DJ course, an online DJ course with Tulum DJ Academy. So it's a course for super beginners, kind of dive into what CDJs are, what a mixer is, how do you mix, and how do you, from that all the way up to programming a set, then how do you promote yourself as a DJ. So it's a beginner intermediate type of class. Then probably if this goes well, we might do a follow-up where we get into production and whatnot.
Very cool. Maybe you can tie in the mentorship part to it.
That's what we're thinking about. So it'll take something off of my hand for promoting.
Exactly.
It. Exactly.
No, let the professionals handle that part.
Right. Yeah.
So you're touring. You're obviously here. What do you have? So obviously you had some things happening for your label, celebrating your anniversary. This was last year. Anything going on this year that you want to talk about?
We had an amazing party at Miami Music Week.
Yes, you did.
We celebrated another great year in Miami. We've been doing some rooftop parties at the Palace. That was really good. We had rain the year before. This year thankfully it was a little drizzle, but didn't mess anything up.
Yeah.
So after here, I'm playing in Brooklyn at Listen. Then from there, I have a DC gig. Then I have Montreal. We're working on Toronto. Usually when I go to Canada, I'll try to knock all that stuff out. So
Makes
like
sense, yeah.
Toronto and Montreal and whatever up north. And then from there, I'm just gonna probably take a little break because I'm trying to fix up my studio and do some changes in there, and it needs really some serious revamping, and take some time off and do that. And
are you buying new equipment, or what's just renovating?
No, I gotta renovating. So I gotta move the vinyl wall from one side to the next. I'm gonna paint the entire wall because it's a little dark, so I need a little more. I'm either gonna go white or yellow. I don't know why. It was
yellow
dark.
Would be cool.
I thought so too. Yeah. So I might do that and just make some rearranging. I think it's nice to see it. It refreshes the place when you have a different setting.
Yeah, and it's like it's good to always give yourself new beginnings. Why not?
Exactly. Yeah.
What's in the store for you this year? Any new projects or anything you want to mention aside from obviously renovating your studio and just keeping up with the mentorship? Anything you want to talk about? Maybe for professional, personal, or
I just recently took like about 2.5 weeks, just took off on my own with a car and did like some car camping. And
nice.
It's nice to just kind of get away, reset, and just like get your head out of everything, and it really helps. It refreshes my ideas. I note a lot on the road, and just gives me a better perspective when coming back home and trying to get a business going and run everything. So that helps me out a lot. So I do that. Aside from that, I'm really just, concentrating on building the label, getting it even bigger, getting more artists and developing that. I want to dive in more into the studio. Now that I'm at an age where it's like, I can DJ because I want to, not because I have to. And it just helps out that I can be home more and just make music and whatnot.
Yeah, it's the best. It probably allows you the freedom to be more creative, thus produce more, right?
Yeah.
So
and produce other people and work with like vocalists or a trumpet player. I really want to do that and focus on different genres as well, just to have fun with it.
Yeah, you're right. Like any type of journey, it puts you in a transition where you get to a point where, like you said, there's no need to prove yourself. You've already proven yourself. Your name is big. Now you just allow yourself to be creative and just get to the next step. So,
exactly. And pass it on to the next generation.
Exactly. Pass the torch, which is part of the mentorship.
Full circle.
You do meditation, right?
Yeah.
You think that plays a big part into just having a harmonious life?
It does, especially in the world we live in now. You have to have that. I think it's what keeps me sane most of the time. So I'll try to do like in the morning and in the evening. But it does. I mean, it's with everything that's going on in the world. Sometimes you just gotta shut everything off and just focus inward and just let that take you. Even 5 minutes a day, it really makes a difference. Sometimes I'll sit in front of my Dow and just like, okay, let me shut it down. Just take a couple of deep breaths, and it helps. And anxiety, whatever you have, it brings everything in better vision, like vision, hearing, all that stuff. It makes everything much calmer. It's just like, all right, we're gonna start fresh, and
it brings it to baseline.
Yeah, exactly, and I love it.
Any last words?
No, just thanks for you guys inviting me to come back and play here.
Anytime, you're always welcome. This is your home too. So.
Yeah, I love Tulum, Mexico. So it's always a good time. That's why I'm playing a little tropical today, because I was like feeling the heat and the vibe.
It was awesome. It was great.
Thank
you so much for being here. And again, like I said, you're always welcome. And really excited to see what you have in store with the mentorship and everything else. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Joanne.
Thank you so much. Thanks again, guys. This is Joanne from Downtown Tulum Radio. Until next time.
Downtown Tulum Radio.